Can everybody hear me all right? Should I go ahead and start, Cindy? Okay, thank you all for being out here today. This is a big day for the ATA on behalf of the 750 employees out here. I do want to introduce you to Will Howard, the new president of the ATU. Will, where are you? Raise your hand. I would like to thank very much our newest commissioners on the ATA board. Janae Hanslick, commissioner from Johnson County. We have Reginald Townsend, the mayor pro tem of Raymore, Cass County. And then Tamika McLean from the unified government. Very happy to have them on board. They're very excited about climate, environment, zero fare, all of that. So glad to have them. I know Matt Haas is here and Brent Shields from Senator Blunt's office. Guys, I just wanted to say thanks. Okay, the senator has been the only U.S. senator, as far as I can tell, who has actually stepped foot on KCATA property, and we're grateful for that. Okay, and him bringing the governor down here a few weeks ago, that kind of thing, and he's been very gracious and a very big advocate of public transit and the ATA, and we really appreciate it. Okay, thanks, Matt. Is Eric here? All right, so let's get started. Zero fare, zero emission. I think that's the way to go, right? If we can get people out of their cars and ride public transit, but then do it in an efficient, safe, environmentally friendly way, why wouldn't we do that? So zero fare, zero emission, community climate action plan, for lack of a better way to say it, is perfect. And with the Mid-America Regional Council and with the city of Kansas City adopting these kinds of plans around the region, this just fits right in. We have our two first electric vehicles here made by Gillig, and we're happy to have them here. And we're darn happy to have our folks from Evergy who have been a critical partner in moving us forward down this path. Now let's remember, public transit is that one thing. Okay, it doesn't get much credit, but it's that one thing that keeps everything, it's the glue that keeps everything together. And whether it's the four pillars of Kansas City transit, which are access to jobs, access to education, access to health care, and access to housing, all surrounded by a foundation of social equity, which is where the zero fare piece comes in. Remember, we've been going zero fare for a year. When everybody else's public transit agency went down to 20% ridership, yours didn't go below 60%. We're still doing 30 to 40,000 trips a day. And during a pandemic, when everything was worse, the fact is that it was your public transit agency that was keeping the city breathing by getting essential workers to their jobs, by getting people where they need to go to a grocery store, whatever, and by doing it with no fare. So what happens? That money went right back into the local economy to the tune of about $1 million a month to buy prescriptions, to buy a pair of shoes, to buy some groceries, whatever that is. So now you put on top of that the fact that this agency started 10 years ago when I was on the board. 2/3 of our fleet is now compressed natural gas right now. So this is obviously the next step in the process. So what we're going to do with these vehicles is we're going to take them around the whole region, get used to our extreme climates here, the grades, the hills, that kind of stuff, and see how they actually work for us. I want to thank Duke Patriakovich with the FL-CIO for being here. They were one of the first on board for zero fare and this time and zero emission. They actually sponsored, the Greater Kansas City Labor Union sponsored free transit for veterans, and to date, we've had over 6 million rides. Best kept secret in the region was that your ATA is weaving itself into the community fabric. It's not just about a bus going from point A to point B. It's about caring about people. It's about changing people's lives, making a difference in people's lives. I tell everybody here, if you want to make a difference, come work here. If you're just here to make a paycheck, probably not the place for you. You have more of a chance to make a difference in people's lives than most people get to do in a lifetime. So while everybody else in the nation was back on their heels during a pandemic and just begging for federal money just to catch up, your transit agency has been moving forward. Zero fare, electric vehicles, disability advocacy, those kinds of things. Well, thank you for whoever that is. All right. And that's just a fact. So I want to take a minute and I want to introduce somebody that's very special not only to this region, not only to me, not only to this agency, but to our nation. Having Congressman Cleaver is a blessing. It's a gift. From day one, he's always thought about people. He's always been on board with the direction that we want to go. He's helped shape the direction we want to go. Zero fare, zero emission. And we're just darn lucky to have him. And you know what? My life, this agency, this region, and this nation is better with him in it. The Honorable Emmanuel Cleaver, Congressman.
This is an important day, but I hope that everybody understands that this is just another beginning. We've had a lot of beginnings with ATA, but this is one more. And I think one of the good things that is happening right now is the discussion of a massive infrastructure program. If that program should pass the Congress, I think you're going to see all kinds of things all across the country, but most particularly, I'm interested in things here. The senators are generally, away somewhere doing stuff, and but we're fortunate. Senator Blunt and I spoke about 2 weeks ago, and pledged to each other that over the next year, he's announced his retirement, that we're going to work together to get everything we can for Kansas City. And up at the top of that list is ATA. If we can get a whole fleet of these buses, I think and zero fare, we'll put ourselves in a position that no other city can compete. And that is, we're environmental, and we're also a city where people can go to work for zero. Now, what CEO around the country is not going to be excited about bringing a company, his company or her company to town when their employees can get free rides to work? This is the kind of thing that separates Kansas City from the other little towns around the country like New York City. This is a big time city. We have big time agencies. We have big time CEOs that run them, like Robbie. So I'm glad to be here. I think we're meeting with Robbie later on today, where we can go into even greater detail about this desperately needed infrastructure bill that we hope by the middle of the summer we can get approved. So I'm here, your non-paid lobbyist, Robbie, and I'll wake up every morning lobbying for ATA. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Congressman. I don't know what else you can ask for more than that. Okay. Thank you, Congressman. If I could now, I want to introduce somebody who's been critical to the path forward for the ATA. Mayor Lucas and his strong leadership during the pandemic was critical to the success of the ATA, was critical to helping this agency get to the next level and get past the safety issues and everything else that came with the pandemic. His steady leadership allowed us to come through and see the light at the end of the tunnel. Mayor Lucas is a strong advocate for zero fare. He's a strong advocate for zero emission. And he's a strong advocate for you. And we're very lucky to have him. And I feel very lucky to call him my mayor and to call him my friend. The Honorable Quentin Lucas, Mayor of Kansas City.
Well, good morning, everybody. And every time after I get done following Robbie in a speech, I want to say, let the church say amen for all the wonderful stuff that he had to say, all the wonderful work that he has done. I also want to appreciate my fellow leaders in our region who are here today. We get to work together on things like KCATA, but I also want to thank my Johnson County Commissioner, because even though we didn't get to talk much during the COVID crisis, sometimes you get a chance to have meetings to figure out what's going on, and other times you just have to kind of watch each other. And I appreciated your work, standing up for responsible things like masks, like transit, like making sure that we're looking out for the public health of everyone. So I wanted to give you particular thanks because it meant a lot for all of us in the region. In terms of why we are here today, let's talk about how exciting it is to be a part and connected with Ride KC. I look around and I see our workforce. I see union representatives. I see folks who've helped money get here. I've seen folks who are users of this system. This is why we're here, and this is why we care. The congressmen, our senators do outstanding work each day fighting for us, such that I was able to be in a meeting not long ago with the Secretary of Transportation, and we were talking about progress in Kansas City, talking about our efforts with zero fare transit. Secretary Buttigieg said, yeah, I've heard about this program in Kansas City. I want to see how it can go national. And I said, one thing that we shouldn't let you do is hire Robbie Mackinnon away from us. He likes Missouri too much anyway. But nevertheless, I see that this is a time where we're making such a transformative difference. And what we're here to talk about today does that very same thing. And keeping up with our dedication to the city's public transportation system, I'm here today to unveil Kansas City's first zero-emission public transit buses, a big deal for all of us. KCI was our first airport to deploy electric shuttle buses. And these zero-emission buses are an essential part of the transition to a more climate-friendly and sustainable technology. The amount of CO2 eliminated in a 12-year span from zero-emission buses is equivalent to taking 27 cars off the road. I also get to engage in these issues as vice chair of the Transportation Commission of the United States Conference of Mayors, where we talk about things like fighting for transit. We talk about things like climate change. We've launched zero fare transit in Kansas City. We've unveiled our first zero emission buses, and we're continuing to take strides each and every day. We also recognize that this is only one step in our ongoing process. I've talked a lot about how we make sure we have transit-oriented development in Kansas City. Folks like Senator Blunt, folks like Congressman Cleaver have been good in helping us build our MAX lines, like Prospect MAX, like Truce MAX. We need to make sure at City Hall we do our work to have good development near them, to make sure when people are building things nearby, they're not building gigantic parking garages, but instead making things that are about our riders, our pedestrians, and transportation for everyone in Kansas City. That's what these buses are truly about. It's about us seeing this system not just as one that's about what you might have thought 40 or 50 years ago, but one that is central and how our city develops, how our city and indeed our region will grow. So the next time that I want to talk at a Johnson County Commissioners meeting, I don't know why I would, but I have a good bus route. We work out zero fare everywhere, and we're able to make it so we can get back and have good conversations, really making this region one. And to link on that, I just want to note one other thing. You know, we've talked about homelessness a lot in the news lately in Kansas City. And we talk about solutions that are sustainable and long-term. And every one of the folks that I've had the chance to talk to when I've said, we have services here for you. You can get your birth certificate at the health department. They've said, is it on a bus route? That is such an important part to so many lives. And so those steps that we're taking to make sure that we have bus routes that are accessible for everyone, whether you're in the core of the city, where you're in the Northland, anywhere else in Western Missouri or Eastern Kansas, and making sure that we have these types of transit forms that are looking out for our environment and sustainability long-term, is why we are so proud to work with Robbie, to work with our congressman, to work with Senator Blunt, to work with Duke, to work with Evergy. I love having my utility company here today too. We're proud to have this type of coalition because Kansas City is making a difference. Kansas City is making strides, and those strides are being led by all of you who work at Ride Kansas City. Thank you all so very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. None of this is possible without partnerships. We know that, right? If I could, I want to introduce somebody special who's going to represent a company that is very special to us and a intimate partner on Zero-Emission and on our electric infrastructure. Ms. Kim Winslow from Evergy. She's going to come up and talk to you for a minute. I want to thank the new CEO, Mr. Campbell, for his willingness to step into this process with us. Terry Basham, who was there from the beginning. Evergy is always a great partner, a great advocate, and a great company in Kansas City. Kim Winslow, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Robbie. Yes, thank you very much, Robbie, and to Congressman Cleaver and Mayor Lucas. I mean, I hear Robbie's passion and appreciate his leadership to get this done because it's very important for our city and for our region. At Evergy, we believe that electric transportation is no longer the future, but it's happening now. And just looking at these beautiful buses, you can see just the progress that we're making. Evergy started our electric vehicle journey nearly 5 years ago in 2015 when we announced that we were going to install over 1,000 charging stations in our territory. We have seen tremendous growth in electric vehicle adoption across our territory for the last 5 years. Now, as we expand our focus to electric mass transportation like these buses, we are really excited for today's announcement with the KCATA. As mentioned, it takes partnerships to get these things done. And so we're very happy to always have this partnership with the KCATA and hear them, listen to them, and take their feedback so that we can develop programs that meet our customer needs. So that in order to continue to grow electric transportation, we need to remember that we want to take advantage of charging off-peak times like these electric buses do. It will be less strain on the energy grid, as well as during the time when we generate more renewables. To help with that, we also recently just filed some programs with both commissions in the states of Missouri and Kansas to continue to grow our electric transportation offerings to our customers. We will also hopefully offer more programs to our residential customers so that we can also encourage that home charging at night and during those off-peak hours. So we congratulate the KCATA for this, wonderful adoption of these electric buses and are excited for our residents in the community to take advantage of this, to take advantage of the low emissions, the no emissions, and move forward. So I'd like to thank you for your support for electric transportation and the continued partnership with EV charging.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Robert.
Very much. All right, when we end here, we're going to do some rides, I guess. Cindy or Patrina will tell you about that, as well as you can take some interviews with these folks offline, whatever you want to do. I'm just going to end with this. Alan's going to be here from Gillig to talk about the actual, any detailed questions you might have about these vehicles or anything like that. So let me just end with this. What everybody here understands behind me and what everybody on this campus understands is that this is about people, right? And they understand that we're not going to run away from the people that need us the most. We're going to run toward them, what I always say. And then the last piece is the return on investment. The return on investment for empathy, for compassion, for innovation, and for social equity far outweighs the return of investment for asphalt and concrete. Appreciate you all being here. Thanks.